Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue and I'm from OML Embroidery, and welcome back to part 2 of the art of doodle embroidery. Now, in the last video, which I will link in the description, we talked about creating doodles and what we can do with it. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys how we put it all together. So remember the rules about, I'm not big on rules, but rules about doodle embroidery. First, you don't have to be an artist. Second of all, it doesn't have to be perfectly done. It's just to give you a general idea to get started. If you look at this doodle here, I mean, it's not even very nice. However, I can make it into something really nice for embroidery. So the first step that I do is something like this. Now we're going to put this together and I'll show you how I did it. And this is just like a level 1 kind of a refined doodle, I guess, in embroidery. You know, I'm not going to do the flowers exactly like that, but it just gives you the idea of how it's going to look, and I quite like it. So let's put this together. Now, I am working in Wilcom E4.5, but you can do this in any software. And so any digitizing software, you can do it. First thing that I start off with is a square. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. So just a square, I just want an outline because we're just doing, you know, level 1 here. So it is 6 by 6 almost. So let's make it square and make it actually 6 by 6. Kind of in the middle size for quilt blocks. And there we go. So now we've got that. That was easy. Let's draw a line for this outer edge that we're doing here, and this is where putting crosshairs is really handy. Now you could put up the grid if you want. I'm not going to this time, and I hold down the control key to constrain it so it stays straight, and same with over here. We want it straight. And there we go. So just more running stitches. So now we're kind of getting the look here. Kind of awesome. Now look, it's not perfect. I am just working it out. So let's do another shape. And we're going to do a circle and another circle, however your software does it. And we're going to make that just a little bit smaller. And then all we're going to do right here, we're not worrying about connections or anything like that. We are going to copy and paste, and in Wilcom and in Hatch, it's a right click and drag, but you can use duplicate and just position it, or copy and paste, Control C, Control V. You guys know that one here. And then you can take these ones and copy it. But I'm going to select all of these circles here. Just select them. So I'm holding down the control key to select them all. And I can copy it going down this way. But first, I want to do a little bit of alignment. And if your software doesn't have this, then don't even worry about it. So space evenly across, we can do that. Now it's perfect, and I'm going to copy and paste, and then we are going to rotate it. So all easy stuff so far. If you don't have the spacing, don't worry about it. I guess I could do an align too while I have them all done up there. That's much better. So it's a lot easier for me to do this in embroidery than it is drawing. So that's what I like to do, but I'm not going to worry about this. So now we have this little bit better, and again, I would like the circles closer because otherwise we're going to have a jump stitch, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Now I want to do this part. Now the one problem that you may have, because our idea is we want to put, let me show you how I would like it to look. We're just going to use a mirror merge. Can you see that? I guess I can click it and put it down. That is what it's going to look like. Now my circle is perfect. That's actually kind of cute. I don't mind that. So let's undo that for now. So for doing the circle, if you just take a running stitch and do it like this, which you may think looks good when you do the multiplying like this to check it, I check all the time, you will find that it's not. It's not. Although that would be a cool shape for the middle. That would be fine. But I do want a circle. So I'll just put that down and then undo it. So, and undo this one because that's not what we want. So the way I do it, and there may be, you know, tons of ways of doing it. I just draw out a circle so I have something to go on. So it's like my guideline. So we're going to do it like that, and there's my circle. I'm going to change the color of it so you guys can see it a little bit better. And now we have the shape that we want. So I'm going to take my running stitch and I'm going to place it like this. And that will come out when we multiply it, or when we stitch it out to make a wall hanging. That will be really good. So that's how I do it. Now if I want a little circle in there, I am going to make this one a little bit smaller and, you know, move it where I want. You can see again that using the crosshair cursor is really helpful. So let's just do this. And now when we multiply it, it is going to be a lot easier and it's going to look like a circle. So then I'm just going to delete it. We don't need that. So that is a good tip on how to make good shapes when you're multiplying. So looking back at the doodle, I have some feathers there, which is nice. Let's start off with drawing a line because we want to keep it straight. So let's just do it like this. And if you place down templates like that, or guides, I guess, then it makes it a lot easier to come up with different ideas. This is a good start. This actually looks pretty good like it is. You could do a design here and then mirror it. There's so many things you could do, but just by putting this line down, it gives you more ideas. So again, we're not worrying about connections. We're not worrying about anything like that. So let's keep going. Now we could do flowers. We could do the feathers. They're sometimes hard to draw. So what I do for the first draft is I'm just going to draw one feather. And I do it like this because they're hard to do. And you know what? That's fine. A feather is a feather. I'm going to go into node mode and I'm going to add something there. And I'm going to switch it to a curve so I can pull it in. It's just kind of a matter of playing with it. They're a little difficult to do. That is a good feather. So I just did something and then I pulled it in together. And you can go ahead and save this feather for use in other things. So I work my way up one side and you can change the size as you go along. These are going to end up as guide lines when we do the final block, but see how they fit in. Now feathers are not meant to be perfect. Most of the time they are done freehand quilting, and you just want to avoid the overlap like this. So a little bit of playing, but you know, this is actually fun digitizing. But you can see how it's already coming together. So play around with that. So I'm just going to do another one here that'll fit in, and you can make it smaller. And if you get a really good feather, then you can just copy and paste it around. See how nicely they fit in? We're not worrying about this part at all. So there we go. So just a feather shape. There we go. Looking good. So we'll leave it like that. This one is bugging me, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Problem solved. There we go. Maybe we need one more. Maybe right there. But then you can take everything, and I'm control clicking to select all of them. If you have your stitch list up, you can do it that way too. Copy and paste. And then we just want it reversed. Now we just have to turn it a little bit. Let's do it this way. So I'm just turning it by 15 degrees, and we'll see that almost works. And just like that, you've created a feather. And it takes a little bit of practice to do the feathers in the proper shape, but this is good enough for your first draft. So I kind of like that. It is looking good. We're not going to be leaving it like that. You can see here on this one that I did, it's all the same feather, and it just kind of gives me the idea of what I'm doing. So let's pull in a shape, and just a flower shape, because that's what I have here. We can refine them after. So let's do one here, and we can do another one. There's different kinds of flowers. I'm just going to use the basic flowers, and maybe a different size. Yeah, maybe a different size. Now sometimes I like to fill them in with just plain, you know, fill stitches and change the colors so I can get a better idea of what we're doing. So we can make those pink maybe. It kind of helps you focus on it. Now this one's bigger. Will it fit here? No. So I'm going to take one here, just the small one, and put it here, and make a copy of this one and put it here. Now what you could do to line stuff up is let's draw a line from corner to corner and line up the flowers on that so that they look perfectly lined up, and that makes a big difference. That is pretty close. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete that one line right there. There we go. So now this looks pretty good. I'm going to leave that template line there because we also have some lines in here to create, and that creates our center design. So I'm just going to do it like this, back and forth, and 2, and then we're going to go right on that line, and then I'm going to do 2 more. Again, you don't have to worry about it too much. It's going to look good. So there we go. That does look good. Now, don't take the time to line everything up yet. And I may leave the circles out of that. So then what we can do, let's move this guy over. Let's see how that looks just in general. Let's see how it looks. And doesn't it look spectacular? My circle isn't quite, now it is. Now it's a perfect circle. So let's just, it doesn't matter if you merge. And look what we've created from this doodle. Now I think this is a really pretty quilt square. Obviously we need to do some, refining and make it a little bit better. This is definitely not my final. We need to change colors and make connections. This is just, a design. You could use this for anything, but I think it's well balanced And I think it looks really good. I really like it. So let's go back on that. So that is how I start off from this messy, terrible doodle. And let's go over here, and I'm just going to show you quickly the things that I did. So I tried some different ideas. We'll zoom right in there. I tried some different ideas. So this is still in draft form. There's no connections. If we look here, there is a gazillion. All these triangles are trims. And we're not going to worry about that right now. We will fix that up when we do it for final. So I tried some different flowers. I kind of like this. I'd like to see it stitched out. And these are satin stitches, and we can work on flowers as well. And I just added some swirlies. Now, I did it the same way. I made one swirly, and then I roughly placed them on top of each other to make this design. So it's not perfect. I prefer kind of that they matched or that they're completely different. But, you know, it was a good start. And then I put, instead of the lines, I put a flower in the middle. So let's look and see what that looks like. Now, for some reason, my circle is a bit off. It's not a perfect circle. But I kind of like it. I kind of like it. These flowers stand out. I'm not too fond of this part. Not too fond at all. So then we can make some more changes. So I really like this flower. I really like it. I didn't really like the flower in the middle. And again, we still have it in draft form. Not worrying about it at all. So I took the flower and I just took a couple of petals off of the flower, and I put the lines back in, and I left these swirlies. So let's see how that one looks. And I think that is better. Let's see, merge away. So I think that is better when you're looking at it. Other than this is not a perfect circle. I'm not sure how I did that, but we know how to fix it. I think these flowers look really good, and I think the swirlies are much better. So that is nice and bright, and you know, it's a little bit busy, but it'll be a delightful stitch out. Well, then I thought, okay, I love this, so let's do some hearts. And I came up with this, and I'm really liking it. So I didn't do the circle at all. Let's look at this one. You guys will be really surprised. There we go. I really like it. So instead of having the circle in the middle, look what I did. Now let's stand back and look at that. Isn't that great? I actually really like it. I like the way the feathers go. Now we do need something in the middle, but I didn't worry about that. Maybe some kind of decoration. I didn't really like flowers or anything. Maybe a big heart that we do pieces of, or striped fabric. Make this an applique, and the center will be striped fabric. But this is just feathers that I designed. They were in, I think, a triangle, and I just pulled them out and saved them as feathers so I can just plunk them down. The heart is just a shape. I love candle wicking. I love candle wicking. And so I thought, you know what? Do what you love. I'll add that in. So still a lot of jump stitches. I kind of fixed these ones and made them connect, but I'm not, in general, not worrying about it. So let's undo that. Now this one is my final design. This is what, these two are what I would use. So just a little variation. And let's have a look at the final design. Look at this. You ready? And I'm really happy with this, and I would love, love, love to stitch it out. Whoops. I just want to get it placed really well for you. That should be good. And look at this now. That has a focal point in the center. The little hearts, the way they go, I just love it. You can still do this part applique, but I think it's really good. You could also fill in the hearts with a different color. And I did the echo stitching just by hand, just on the one block. And when you put it together, it kind of, if you look at it this way, it kind of forms little shapes inside. You know, it's echo, but, you know, if you follow it along. So using automatic echo, that would be fine, but hand doing it, and it's just straight point, curve point, straight point, curve point, and then you just space them out. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect. So what the goal is on this one is we do one square that you can sew together and make blocks. Now you could make variants of this if you wanted, but that is how I do it. And it's playing. It's playing. I like the last block, the last two. I do like the feathers much better than these ones. The only other one I really like that requires a little more refinement is, I think this one is really nice. The one I just did. I like it better than the other one I just did. So if I really like this one, now I will do it in final form. So I'm going to use this as a template. Now I think you should do different flowers. These are pretty basic. I do want these circles, you know, kind of put together a little bit. I may want them a different color. So what I would do is do this. I guess I need to go this way. So I'm going to move them all together. I'll just do one row and show you. So again, remember this is a template, and we're just going to use these to make our connections properly. So we do want them touching, and you would add a few more and do it that way. So you can leave them like this so it looks a little more like long arm quilting, not perfect, or you can use your resources in your software if you have them. Most of them will, and get it all aligned up how you want it. So let's look, what do I have here? Spacing, so we want it to be evenly spaced. That's one, and then we want it to line up at the bottom, which is this one. That's all you have to do. Now they're perfect. So we are gonna zoom in here. You could make, you could do branching, but I tend not to. So I'm gonna take a whole different color. I'm gonna do purple. So all I would do is, there's more than one way of doing it, but this is a good way. So line, curve, and put a curve, which I didn't do, put a curve in there, and we're going up and down to make the circles, and we'll make nice connections out of this. So this is the next step for finalizing. So up and down, up and down. See, it's easy once you get it all done. And we're going to do quarter, 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 and then we're going to go back and do the opposite. And there we go. And I'm just right-clicking in the middle, right-clicking in the middle there, and then this middle, and then I just keep it going in a nice flow. And that's really easy to do. And right back at the beginning. And there we go. Now you can go through, you could see I'm a little bit off on things. Now if you want it to be perfect, you can just go into node mode, which is edit nodes, but I call it node mode. And then you can line everything up better. Now, if you have something like this that happens, you just bring one of them down. But there's only, because you did it yourself, there's only minimal nodes for you to adjust, so it makes it really fast. So bring this one down and bring this one down. I just clicked it a little too high. And there we go. And now, with just a few clicks, what did that take? Like less than a minute? Now you have perfect circles. And I think that looks really good. Now you can put your start and stop points here and copy and paste and get that whole part done. So that's easy. So for this part, you can just follow along the lines, or you can just tidy this one up and make it connect. And now for the feathers. So the way that feathers are created is you do the spine first, and they're not normally straight, so I'm not going to use my straight line for that. But you want to go to about here and then back and put a little curve in it. And then all you have to do is trace over your feathers that you created. If you want to change the shapes of them a little bit, that is fine. Just let it go. And then I finished one, and I'm just going to keep on going. And there we go. Just keep on going all the way to the top. And what you're doing here is that you are building up your connections as you go, rather than messing around with each one and trying to make them connect. You just have what you want done, and it's just running stitches, and it's curved points and align points, and look, you just keep going. Now that looks a little bit messy because we can still see the red underneath it, but we can also get rid of that so we can see it. Well, wrong one. Undo. Nobody saw that. There we go. We can do that. I just didn't. Usually I pick it from my stitch list, but I don't have it up because it's a little overwhelming with everything. Now I see one or two places that I need to just put an extra point in, which is fine. Just put it in there and bring it over, and I just kind of ended. You wouldn't end down here. I still have one more to go, and then you go and do the other side. But doesn't that look pretty good now? And that's all one piece, starting here and ending, well, it'll end here too, which is perfect. And if you wanted to go into this with the same color, you know that it'll end here, and you can just keep going and connect and keep going, and then walk over to here and go. And before you know it, you will have a beautiful quilt block. So all you have to do is play around with the shapes. I'm going to put this design in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group, and you can come up with your own designs. So again, don't worry if you can't draw. You can take this and make this. I just did it for you in less than a half an hour, and play around and change things, and you will find what you love and what elements you love, and then you can change the elements. You could easily make this into a Christmas one or a Halloween one, but that is a perfect little wall hanging. Maybe you could put sayings on it, on each triangle part here. You could make it applique, so the backgrounds of each of the big triangles are different colors. There's so many things you can do to make this look awesome. So start with a doodle and carry on. And make sure you tell everyone about this video, because there are a lot of tips and tricks going on in here, and it's awesome. So we'll keep working on the doodles. I can't wait to see what you guys can do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!